Hey, what's cracking everyone? Today I want to talk to you guys about a headphone aimed at the budget category from a brand called Jadeaudio. Jadeaudio is actually a subsidiary brand of FiiO Audio, which is very well known in the audio space. And this is the JT7. It is an open back planar magnetic headphone that retails in for, wait a second, $119.99. For a planar magnetic headphone. Guys, that is kind of unheard of in this hobby unless we're looking at IEMs for something in that price range for a planar headphone. But I do want to send a big thank you out to FiiO Audio, who actually sent me the JT7 simply so I could get my thoughts and opinions out to all of you guys. Guys, I do recommend checking out FiiO online. They are steadily growing their repertoire of audio gear, from DAX amps, headphones, IEMs. They have other things. They do collaborations with different companies. It's a pretty cool website to buy your gear from, and it's somebody that I definitely recommend. All right, this is everything that you will get inside of the box, minus this little guy right here that I stole from my son. Hey there, little buddy. The JT7 headphone, of course, the quick start guide, a baggie to put the headphone in, an unbalanced cable, and a balance cable. And I honestly don't have issues with these cables. Sure, they're cheap, they're rubberized type material, didn't get any microphonics. Can't say that about some high-end headphones, and it works beautifully. This is a 4.9 foot cable, I believe, and just in case you want to know about the length, I've been using both, and they both work great. All right, let me walk you through the build of the JT7. We'll talk about the drivers here in a moment as well. So the first thing is this headphone, as you can probably tell, is made entirely of plastic for the most part, other than this thin metal material that covers the band. I don't know if this is spring steel or, what type of material this is, but it's a lightweight metal. We'll just call it that. And it adjusts in and out pretty dang easy, I gotta say. So this will fit big and small heads, I would think. Now underneath, the pad for the headband is actually removable via Velcro. So you can take this off and wash it. It tends to get dirty and things from wearing it on your head. I love that. It's also replaceable through FiiO. And same thing with the pads. I'll take these pads off here momentarily, but these are, you can tell they're fenestrated pads. They've got this light mesh type material that is on this side of it. I think it's like a PU leather. It's pretty soft and plush, and you're going to see the left and right of the cups. Of course, I've got that backwards right now because when you have it the right way, let's just do that, you don't swivel it that way. It won't go all the way so you can see it, but it does go flat onto a table, left, right, put it up on your head. Thank you for doing it that way. I love that, so I can just set the headphone down. But we're going to pick this back up and show you that there is some tilt with this headphone, not a full amount of tilt, but enough to make it a good fit. And you get swivel, as I just showed you guys. It's not all the way around, but you don't need it to be. And then the big factor of this thing is that it folds up so that you can take it on the go. This is amazing about this headphone, especially coming in at this price point. Now, because it is fully plastic, there's tiny bits of creaking that I've noticed with it, but it is not bad at all. Nothing that I've noticed to be distracting or anything like that. Now, there are the connections that we're going to see to the cups. Those are those 3.5 connections. A wide variety of cables are going to fit in there just fine because the barrels on these cables are pretty thick. I'll just show you one of them really fast here so you can kind of see. Yeah, so I mean that goes in there really easy and comes out, but third-party cables, you're going to be good to go with this headphone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the pads, which means I'm probably going to need to remove my gloves here. So let's go ahead and do this. Now these pads are removable by this lip style that is on here. You can see that left, there's a thin material to cover the pads. And then we take a look at the driver of the JT7. And this headphone is extremely lightweight. I believe it's somewhere around 380 grams. Now for a planar, yeah, that's light. All right, as far as the fit and comfort of this headphone goes, this is 318 grams, by the way, not 380 like I previously said, and it's really lightweight on the head. I only notice small hot spots every now and then up here, but a quick adjustment and it goes away. And I gotta say, overall, the clamp force is not too tight. It's very soft and plush, but it seals really well. This is a little bit warmer around my ears because it's that PU leather with that kind of soft mesh topping to it. So over time, it can be a tad bit hot. and it's got that nice low profile too. So I think it looks pretty good on your head because, you know, aesthetics do matter. Really quick on the driver, it is 18 ohms of impedance. It has a sensitivity of 92 dB per milliwatt at 1 kilohertz, or if you're looking at voltage, it's 109 dB voltage at 1 kilohertz. All right, and now as far as what I drove this on, this little guy here is just 59 bucks. I think he's been discontinued, but it's a Kiwi Ears Allegra, and it actually drives this headphone beautifully. It has a balanced and unbalanced output. I love the FiiO Snow Sky, which is the Retro Nano that's sitting here. This is a Bluetooth, or it can be plugged in, has balanced and unbalanced as well. Did great with this. This is the FiiO Jadeaudio DS3 little dongle gaming DAC amp device. I tried this with balanced and unbalanced. Balanced drove it great. Unbalanced, of course, needed a little bit more volume. This is the shit gunner. This has a lot of power for an unbalanced gaming desktop amp, and I love shit products. This thing worked awesome with this headphone. And then this is probably my favorite gaming device, and this is my FiiO Jadeaudio K7 gaming DAC amp that has unbalanced and balanced, and also has some other things going on such as Bluetooth, which is awesome. All of it works great, right, little buddies? Cute. Hey guys, quick interruption here to remind you to like videos like this one if you do like them, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join me along the way. I would highly appreciate that. And now, let's get back and talk about the Jadeaudio JT7. For the sound profile in general, I can tell you that it's a pretty well balanced headphone. Surprisingly enough, for an open back planar magnetic headphone, the sub bass extension for this headphone goes pretty deep and pretty flat. It doesn't roll off till the very lowest part of the sub bass, which is impressive, I gotta say, especially for an open back headphone. For those not familiar, open back headphones, one of their unique characteristics is that they can kind of drop off that bass response a little bit sooner. You'll see a lot of rolling off there, and that's not a one size fits all. That's just in general, but with this one, it hangs on, does a really nice job of that. Then as we get into the mid-range, I find this to have a very nice full mid-range, which is excellent, but it does get up and go into the upper mids and into the presence region that I've talked about that I'll show you here momentarily. So it's gonna be a little bit more aggressive and forward from that standpoint. The treble of this, I find to have a warm tonality into the top end of the treble. I don't find this to have those peaks in that sibilance area where it can kind of get you. I didn't really find that with this headphone. All right, so as I dissect the sound of this headphone a little bit further and kind of show you the graph that I'm going to talk about, I'm also going to be popping up some track examples, and they are going to highlight the different areas of the sound that I am talking about at the time to give you an idea of where I heard these examples from. Now, the graph that I am using is from the website called Squiglink. It is a very popular website. A lot of people use it. A lot of creators are on there, a lot of reviewers on there. In particular, I'm using Joe from Gadgetry Tech's measurement of the JT7. So shout out to Squiglink, shout out to Joe and Gadgetry Tech, and it's a great place to go and search if you want to visually get an idea of what something may sound like. Still got to put ears on it, guys. I'm going to walk you through this. So if we're looking at this graph here, the first thing we're going to talk about is exactly what I've already told you, and that the sub bass extension does have a pretty good extension that goes pretty low before it drops off. And the way I feel this is the same way. This is a planar headphone. It is going to be more felt than heard. It doesn't have a ton of rumble and a ton of excursion, but it's got enough to where I would not call this a lean sub bass extension. And it represents that very nice. The control also is really good for this price point. I say for this price point because, yeah, I mean, if I compare this to a headphone 3 times the price of this from a planar standpoint, there's gonna be some differences in the control and texture of that bass response, but I have no complaints, guys, whatsoever of that bass response. As we get into the mid bass, that's where it's more of that lean nature, not quite as full. I wouldn't call this boomy. And this is where, depending on the tracks that you are listening to, you may think this is a bass light headphone. It's really going to depend on where that bass sits on the tracks that you're listening to. So I gotta say, when I'm listening to some hip hop tracks, I pretty much dig this headphone for the most part. Some EDM, some electronica tracks, it's hit and miss, depending on what I'm listening to, if it's sounding full and boomy and exciting, or a little bit flat and maybe just has that excursion going on in it. That makes sense. Now, As we get into that mid-range, that's why I said it's a pretty full mid-range. You're not gonna really notice a drop out of that mid-range response, and it kind of maintains itself. It doesn't have a ton of attack to drums and those types of instruments. Planars, it's kind of hard to do because planars are, pretty much flat drivers, so they don't move quite as easy, but it still has enough attack to where this isn't limp or boring. And hopefully, you guys are following along with what I'm talking about here from that physicality standpoint. Now, what I want to talk to you about is if you look on here between that 1 to 2K up to 3K, that's where that upper mid-range and lower treble really starts to take off. This is where you have to be cautious. If you're somebody that's listening to some music and maybe you feel like, I need more bass, and you crank up the volume, yeah, you might suddenly get more bass. But what you could get on the other side of that is some shoutiness and some harshness, because that presence of the upper mids and even the vocalist is gonna come at you more aggressive the more volume that you're gonna give it. So it's a balancing act that you gotta be careful of. It's also track dependent, just as anything can be. I gotta say, a lot of jazz and like blues music that I love so much, I can get a little bit more volume because, bass isn't really something that's gonna be overpowering. So I can get a little bit more and it's not gonna bite me as much. But I gotta say, with synth instruments, so thinking of, again, electronica and EDM tracks, you gotta be careful here because that's where they can really come at you and be a little bit sharp. Same thing for vocals too. There's some vocalists that can be pretty shouty if you give them a lot of volume. And depending on the artist as well, some artists are gonna be more forward than others, depending on where their voice hits in that part of the spectrum. And you're seeing that there. It does have a drop off that happens into the treble, thankfully, because that's where I don't pick up sibilance and a really strong hissiness to S and T's and things like that. I think it's fantastic. I think cymbals have a nice shimmer. It's a little bit on the metallic sounding nature. Planars can tend to do that at times, but overall, it's fantastic. The other thing that I think it's decent at is speed, as far as transient response, things like that. It's not the fastest that I've heard, but it keeps up really well from that standpoint. And then imaging and things, I find that to be pretty spot on, no issues there. I listened to this headphone while I was gaming. I was playing Helldivers 2. And yeah, I gotta say, imaging was really good. It's not big on stage. So when I was in, big areas of Helldivers 2, I didn't feel like things sounded way far away by any means, but a big enough stage where nothing felt right up here either. So when I was playing Helldivers 2, when some of the spoken dialogue happened, that spoken dialogue was right at me. So that's where I'm talking about that balancing act of the volume. Or if you want to use some EQ to kind of dial that down, that would probably be pretty smart if that's something that's going to bother you. So I wanted to at least give you one comparison to this headphone, but I didn't really have anything from a planar standpoint in that price range. I do have a dynamic driver in that price range, and that is the Sennheiser 6XX. And can we just have a moment of silence for Drop? Because Drop has been dropped, they're gone. So people are afraid the 6XX is gonna be gone as well, where I think it's gonna somehow be kept around. At least I hope so, because this is a really good headphone. A lot of times you can grab this headphone for around 150 bucks. Okay, a lot of times it's going to be around 179 to 199, but you can get it for around 150. Still makes it more expensive than the JT7, but the reason why I bring this one up is because there's similarities in the sound profile. The 6XX is also more of a mid-forward presentation. It is also a little bit more intimate on the stage, and the sub bass and bass response is pretty good. Where the difference is, I would say the 6XX has more of a mid bass presentation, so you're gonna get a little bit more boominess to it, whereas the sub bass rolls off much sooner than this one. This isn't gonna be felt as much as the JT7 is gonna be felt. And then these are both warm in the treble response, as far as they just aren't overly spicy, but I did pick up a little bit more peakiness every now and then out of the 6XX. So I do think there's some similarities there. Fit and comfort wise, pretty similar as far as on my head. I would say the 6XX is more clampy though, until you break it in a little bit. And they're both pretty lightweight headphones. And the build, yeah, I probably would give the build to the 6XX because I do think it is built very well for an all plastic headphone. But again, the JT7 I don't think is a slouch by any means. And let's face it, dual 3.5 connections to the Cubs, give me this any day over what Sennheiser does with their wonky 2-pin connections. So be it, right? All right, so in closing, if I had some sort of a medal or an award to give a headphone, you know, at a certain price category, we'll say headphone for under 150 bucks, I would absolutely give it to the JT7. Because here's the thing, not only does this headphone sound really good, it is built appropriately, if not a little bit better, and it has a pretty incredible package of accessories. You can get everything in the box ready to go except what to plug it into for less than $125, guys. That is incredible in my opinion. Yeah, guys, I've just been really impressed by this headphone, but you just have to know if the sound profile will fit your preferences, and that'll help you decide on a purchase, because at this price point, it's hard for me not to say it's an excellent buy, because I truly believe that it is. But at the end of the day, I never tell you guys what to purchase. That is completely up to you. Now with that, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Probably going to buy this headphone so I don't have to send it back, I'm being perfectly honest. And I will see you in the next one.